name is Hannah Richardson and I am an art teacher teaching 1st through 5th grade. Today I'm going to share with you a lesson for 5th graders that specifically looks at how a material can show value, as well as what materials we can use to communicate certain ideas. This is a project that has some tiering involved and some scaffolding, as well as some accommodations for students with special needs. This project to start, I would encourage you to have your students create a mind map. A mind map is simply using a large piece of paper, drawing a word for the center. In this case, I use the word value, and I use the word value because this is the main topic we're going to explore. Then I ask the students to write words and ideas and pictures and things off of value that can help explain what value is. As you can see on this picture, there's a wide variety of words, some things that are not actually relating to value, but nonetheless it gives me, their teacher, a picture of what they know. This is very helpful as we begin the next steps of our project to create value and understand value. So after the students do this activity silently, I would encourage you to have your students walk around the classroom and look at each other's mind maps. Look at the maps, and at this point they can discuss with their neighbors and talk about what things are different, what are new ideas that are on the mind maps. These mind maps can be used then for building a definition. As a class, they can look for similarities, and the teacher can help support the students in defining what value actually is. At the end of this lesson, the students should create a formative assessment in the form of an exit ticket as a way of defining what is value, as well as what have you learned from other people's posters. During the second lesson, I would have the students come in and define what value is, as a way just as a refresher of what we've actually learned. Then I would have the students work with their table groups to come up with a list of as many different art materials that can be used to show value as possible. The students can access materials, look around the room for clues, and come up with an extensive list of as many materials as they can think of. This list, the teacher should then transcribe on the board so the students can reference it, as well as the students should be encouraged to transcribe it upon a worksheet. This worksheet, they can list the materials as well as they can list specific techniques that they can use to show value. For instance, this student listed adding water or changing the pressure. This may be a specific activity that you need to scaffold down further and lead the class through, but by creating this framework, it gives the students a focus for discovery. After this step, the students should be given free rein to explore materials. They should be able to use as many materials as they like, with the intention of discovering how that material best shows value. They can do that in sketchbooks or on pieces of paper. It's entirely up to the teacher's discretion, as well as what the students' resources are. These materials, the students can make marks and also refer with their groups of what materials make the best value. While they're making this, the students should be reflecting upon what they might want to use for their project. The objective of the project should be introduced at this point, and the students should be told that they are creating an ocean scene using value. They're going to create a value scale going from light to dark, and in the end it's going to look like an ocean scene. But they are going to have the opportunities to choose the materials. At the end of our class, after they've done a full range of discovery and exploration, they should be able to write a reflective statement of what specifically they plan to use. This statement will be used the next art class as the students continue to refine their ideas. For the next art class, as students enter, they would look upon their statement and they would talk to their neighbors about what materials they want to use and why. Why would that material actually help them communicate an ocean scene? The teacher should then show a short 3 to 5 minute video clip of an ocean. This gives some great connections for those visual learners and those auditory learners so they actually can make it meaningful to their work, as well as truly picture what an ocean looks like from under the waves. While the students are watching, the teacher should prompt the students to be thinking about characteristics of the ocean that they could match up with their materials. At the conclusion of the movie, the students should make a decision. what material are you going to use to show the ocean? This decision is going to affect the tiering that happens in the room. The students who are choosing paint should be seated all together. It's an opportunity for the students to receive feedback from each other, learn and grow and experiment together. So each table working together should have one material as a way, again, of tiering the learning. When the students get to the table, the teacher should provide the students with a value scale. I have right here a range of different value scales made from multiple different materials. The students should look at these value scales and discuss amongst themselves what technique the teacher used to create them. They should also look for specific colors that were used to mix together, as well as talk about things that they need to remember that might apply to their value scales. This discussion and ideas, observations should be recorded so the students can refer to them as they're working on their project. Again, this helps it be a cooperative learning environment in which the student is guiding their own learning. After this activity, the students will use a worksheet and actually start creating their value scales. They should work from light to dark, mixing or blending the colors together with the goal of creating a gradual change. At this point, this teacher, I would encourage not to give feedback. Refrain from giving feedback so the students can really try and problem solve on their own. If the teacher gives too much feedback, the students will be reliant upon the teacher's knowledge instead of really seeking out knowledge for themselves. Only after when this worksheet is completed should the teacher then give feedback. This feedback should be specific to each student so the students can make appropriate changes. They can make appropriate changes that will directly affect their outcomes of their value scales and ultimately their projects. The feedback should be something that the students can actually understand and relates to them. After the students have completed the value scale, again, we're in class 2, maybe class 3 at this point, the students should write a reflective statement. This reflective statement is a wonderful formative assessment as well as a way for a student to put out verbally what they've actually been thinking during the process. Thoughts can include making sure the paint is the right consistency to make sure it spreads evenly, or making sure they have the right ratio of white to blue to ensure the correct value. These are all important parts of learning and understanding how to actually use the art material to get the desired outcome. After the student has done this, the student is then ready to work on their final copy. The students should use, they can use a variety of materials to create circles. One thing that I suggest students to use is a compass. This is something for more advanced students, but I have found that even when students struggle, it gives an opportunity for them to learn something new as well as to problem solve. My students, for the most part, used a compass, and this was found very successful. There were only 3 students probably out of 75 who needed direct my hands to help them manipulate the compass. For those students, though, who have physical disabilities or need other accommodations, you can use objects such as a tape roll or a glue bottle as a tracer, and these can be traced so that they form concentric circles. It just depends upon your population. At this point, the students should use their value scales and their drawn circles to create an ocean scene. This ocean scene should have a variety of different values that goes from light to dark. Again, at this point, the teacher's role is just simply monitoring, encouraging positive feedback between peers, and ensuring that the students are using all of the resources that they have available to them. The end of this project, after the student has created their value scale, they can start to think about which animals they would like to add to their image. They can add whatever images that they would like, as long as they're completing the objective of making it an ocean scene. If the student can defend their choices of why that specific object belongs in the ocean, the teacher should allow the students to make that choice. It is an artistic decision, and that should be encouraged. At the conclusion, as a way of summative assessment, the students should be able to defend their choices. They should be able to defend why they've chosen to use that material. They should be able to defend how they've actually shown value, what specific things that they do to make it go from light to dark. They should also be able to defend how their picture is an effective way of meeting the objective. These are all wonderful assessment questions that connect back to the learning objective and also the individual goals of the student. I want to show you a few student examples. These are student examples with different materials that are all successful. Here's a painting. This is one done with tempera paint. This is an artwork done with oil pastels that has then been sealed with gloss medium. And this painting is a watercolor painting. So again, you can see all three of these students approach the project differently, but nonetheless created a value scale from light to dark that helps to create an ocean scene. So this project is, again, a wonderful project of teaching a fundamental technique while also encouraging thinking and exploration in art, which is a big part of becoming an artist. Thank you for joining me this evening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and seek out the lesson plan and worksheets for more information. Thank you.